The previous 4 months closed green, August closed red, and I think September's going to close green. There you go. You know everything I'm going to talk about now looking into September, or do you? Statistically, September isn't great for crypto, but the fact that August closed red, and I think that the first week or two of September we'll get some sharp selling to the downside. I think we recover quite well. Close green for September, and the prices we're currently seeing will be forgotten for the next 5 to 6 months at least. In this video, I'm going to break down what Bitcoin looks like this month. We'll also look at Ethereum, the total chart, our dominance charts when it comes to USDT, and another dominance chart which I use to see when alt run is, which is showing me signs that Bitcoin will take some strength again. I'm not going to go through a heap of news articles this time. I think they're fucking boring. I don't think any of you guys are getting anything out of them. But I do want you guys to know that September 15, 16 is when the FMOC is going to be. And we're predicting rate cuts. So I feel like it will get a little bit of a chop, a little bit of downward selling pressure until we get the green light on those dates before we can start heading up. So you can see here on Bitcoin, we actually had 1, 2, 3, 4 months of green before this one, August, closed red last month. The first thing that sticks out to me is we didn't get engulfing. We actually closed above July's opening. By all means, isn't bullish, but it'd be more bearish if the August closed under, then we would have an engulfing. And to me, I think as long as we're above this red line, we are going to go higher. If we start seeing price roll over and trading under here, then we're in a bit of trouble, and we just want to make sure that we get a clear bounce up here before we can go back up. But if we don't, we get into our bear market. The 4-year cycle's played out and that was our top, which I still think is very unlikely. Like I said at the start, for September, I think that we will put in a bit of a wick down to this level, close green, and then we'll just keep going for the next 5 to 6 months. But we just have to see what happens. At the moment, that's what I'm looking for in the monthly time frame. Like if you come down to the weekly, unfortunately, we have closed back into this year's value area. We really want to see this get accepted back above ASAP. We don't want to spend too much time down in here. You can see we come back in, we had a weekly close back here, but the following week we just got out. So I know what I just said before about the first 2 weeks of September, you know, coming down here and coming up. Hopefully we can do that in this week. Right, so that this week comes down like this and then closes back above here, and then we can start going to close out this month green. So obviously we're still in a clear uptrend on the weekly here. As long as we don't lose this level, put in a higher low and come up here and make a higher high, we'll continue this trend, okay? This would invalidate that, but it could be just some kind of bear trap as well. You just don't know. We just got to look at different scenarios. That's exactly what trading is. But for now, it still looks really, really good. You also can't rule out that we could get a 30% pullback. No different to here, no different to here. And I know people saying this is unlikely, but you know, it was only April, March this year that we did exactly that. Now looking at the daily, I would have really liked to have seen this level get reclaimed and off we went, but it hadn't. It's actually rejected. So we're now trading under here and trading inside the developing year value area high like I showed before. We could just get a retest here, roll over to this level here, or roll down to this level here, and we get that 30% pullback, which I've just shown you. These are things you can't rule out. As much as I want price to go up forever, it doesn't always work like that. We had a lot of people bullish over the last couple of weeks on Ethereum, myself included, and everyone was calling for alt runs. So you just got to, you know, if everyone's calling for an alt season, so that tells me people are already positioned and there's not enough fuel. Where's the fuel going to come to keep that pushing? It's when people aren't expecting it. That's when we get those fucking runs. Looking at ETH, we did have an SFP of the old all-time high. Providing we, you know, we stay above this level, I think we're pretty good. We do need to cool off a bit. And to me, it kind of makes sense that we get another retest down here of that level I just outlined. And you've also got the developing year value area high. And then you've also got this area here is last year's value area high. And what we want to see when price comes down there is just rocket off. So ideally, we put in some kind of falling wedge down here where we go like this one more sweep, boom, and go like this. This will be extremely bullish. It's a bull flag under high time resistance. All right, if you don't know, these indicators are part of Market Mastery. There's a couple of links down in the description. Go check them out if you want to know more info. You notice how I've zoomed out a lot here? People fail to do these on a daily basis. You need to be going out and know exactly where we are on the weekly, more so, not so much the monthly, but definitely the weekly charts. You need to be zooming out that far to understand where we are in the cycle, understand where we are on that time frame. So crucial. So many people get fucked taking longs or shorts on 5-minute time frames and going against what's happening on the higher time frame. Now, the total chart is still one of the most bullish charts in my opinion. Problem is we did have a bit of an SFP here of this old all-time high, and we've put in what could be an evening star reversal where you have this big up thrust candle, then you got a pin bar, and now if this candle closes back 50% lower than this candle body here, that will put in a reversal setup, which we could see possibly come out of this monthly order block here before we go back up. The best thing we can do is maybe fill in this FVG here before price bounces back up and closes green on the monthly. On the weekly chart, we just want to hold this level here, which we have been. We've been doing that quite well for weeks now. And there is a trend line here that we don't want to lose. So virtually right now, we're kind of at the point of inflection where it's either yes or no. If you look at the daily and we look at the VWAP, looks like we are closing back inside this value area. And on the total chart, it has respected these levels better than anything else, in my opinion. Okay, so we bounced off here. We could not get out of here, and the VWAP was support, right? At the moment, we've accepted back in with a couple of retests, so we can only assume that price is going to go down here or here, unless we can quickly get back up there, and then that will just be a deviation into this value area, which let's fucking hope that's where we are in the market. If you guys aren't using the total chart, you guys definitely need to be. It is, if you go out to the weekly and have a look at how prices reacted at key levels, it's actually a better chart than the Bitcoin chart to be actually creating your bias on where we're going to go with price. If you don't know what a ticker that is, it's just a $ total. Make sure you select a crypto part in TradingView. And if you don't know what any of this TradingView stuff is, there's a link in the description. Check it out. It's our short course. It teaches you everything you need to know, from everything from what Bitcoin is up to taking your first trade. All right, now the last chart I'm going to show you is the US. No, it's not the last chart. This is the second last chart. This is the USDT dominance chart. So if this number's going down, that means crypto's going up. So what does that mean? This bottom trend line you can see here, the yellow one, every time we've kind of hit this yellow trend line, it's putting a top on Bitcoin chart. Here, here, here. The old all-time high back in 2021. You've got a high here, here, and obviously now here. Now it's kind of losing strength. Look to me that we could potentially just be backside testing that there, right? I've always just think that this might come down to 3%. I've been saying that for quite some time. Maybe even just take this low down here, whatever that is, 2.5%. And yes, I got the fucking retarded squiggles again. But the problem is if we accept back above this line here and start going up, back up here, Bitcoin, altcoins, all your favorite coins, Ethereum are gonna nuke. And then what we have is some kind of inverse head and shoulders here, this being a neckline. So you got to assume that we could come back up here and we could go into a bear market if this plays true. And unfortunately, that would mean the top would be in. I'm sticking to, we're just doing a retest of that trend line before we go further down. And then we can start our bear market. So this is a good chart you guys should be using as well. It's USDT.D. Right? All that's telling you is the percentage that's in USDT compared to the rest of the market. Now, I can't give you all my secrets for this one. I'm not going to tell you, but if you've got good eyes, you can probably read this ticker here. Go for it. I think this trumps over the Bitcoin dominance only because I include the stable coins in this chart. I think stable coins are too big to rule them out. I think that's a safe haven, just like Bitcoin is. And so if this number's going down, that means alts are really going up, because that means capital's flowing out of Bitcoin and stable coins into somewhere else. And now, could be US dollars. We don't know, but it's most likely going to be altcoin. And we didn't quite touch this trend line here, so we might get another sweep before coming up, retesting that, coming down, and finish the top there before going. That's what I've been thinking might happen for quite some time. I'm just waiting to see how we react off this trend line. Hopefully I haven't missed it, and hopefully this hasn't gone early to retest that before coming down. So what does that mean? Altcoins will either just go sideways or nuke, depending on what the Bitcoin price is doing while that happens. But the dominance will come back into stable coins and Bitcoin, all right? If this number's going up, which means capital will be flowing out of altcoins, unfortunately. But it was always going to happen. And I still think, a logical target would be down here, right? And that will put in the top of the alt cycle run, if we get it. If you click this video here, I explain everything about our long-term VWAP indicator. I mean, you could play this video to toddlers and they'll understand how to use it. See you later.